Well, we're looking back over the year, and this time we thought we'd look at the hotel business with me, David Mackey, from the Ascot. Lovely hotel, always seems to be busy when I'm passing, but lots of cars parked outside. But what's it been like? How is the Isle of Man doing in tourism?
I think 2012 has been a difficult year due to various factors. The weather was appalling. The Olympics certainly had a bearing on us. The general downturn in the economy and the lack of marketing on the island. I think all operators suffered. I mean, we were greatly down on 2012 from what we were in 2011.
And is that the UK contracting, or I mean, do you break it down into different markets?
You can break it down into different markets. I mean, I think the London model is still performing fairly well, but certainly the Northwest and definitely the Isle of Man, we were suffering for various reasons. You know, but I think there's a lot of reasons to be positive for next year.
Now, the Isle of Man Tourist Board people, well, call them Tourist Board, but the department that's involved with it still, says they held up pretty well, their figures.
Yeah, I heard that at a meeting a couple of weeks ago. That doesn't hold right with our figures here. We're down, not significantly, but enough to be concerned on last year. But there's definitely, like I said before, there's definitely grounds for optimism for next year. There's a lot of interest in the island for next year. Not just with TT, there's a lot of new events, there's a hell of a lot of interest in the island, and it's onwards and upwards for next year.
Do you have to keep reinventing the product, and can you reinvent it?
I think it has to be, Paul, if the island's going to survive, and we have to use our natural habitat that we have here. The Active Travel Show is taking place in London next month, of which the island's got a presence, promoting all the adventure activities that we have over here. We've got the new plantation at South Barrule, which is a really positive shot in the arm for tourism. Karen from Adventurous Experiences will be there. I think the Venture Centre have got a stand there. You know, promoting the island, its natural habitat, the climbing activities, the 8-man facility, all the outdoor pursuits that we have here will link in, hopefully, give the island a different sort of branch to branch out from. And
your guests, do they demand more all the time? I mean, obviously, this event in the early days would have been a typical old boarding house, I suppose, in various forms.
Yes, it would have been.
You've had to move that on, obviously.
Yeah, we have to. Victorian buildings, it takes time. I mean, even if you walk around this place, there'll still be evidence of the guest house era. But yes, guests are more demanding. Everybody wants complimentary Wi-Fi now. The restaurant facilities, we're constantly looking at the bedrooms. We've spent a lot of time and money and effort on over the last 5, 6, 7 years. So it's a constantly evolving product, and one that we have to be very, very mindful of.
I mean, one of the reasons I thought talking to you about the situation with the hotels was, I mean, at the Tourism Awards recently, you won Best Hotel, didn't you? So you're doing something right. What do you have to prove these days to do that?
I think hotels is not a rocket science, but it's also very easy to get wrong. I think if you employ the right people and you have the right product, employ nice people who are interested in people, who are people, that's it in a nutshell, really. That allied to hard work, knowing who your market is, constantly evolving the product. I think that's the way forward.
And are you getting the support you want from them? From government?
I think it's very easy to sit back and rely on that. I think all operators are guilty of that to a certain extent. I mean, when we found out that the funds weren't quite ready, or I think there was some problem with the contract for the marketing for the island, we all sort of got a kick and went out and got some extra business for next year. I've got a lot of groups in for next year. There's a few new events. There's a TT triathlon coming on the end of June. The government are aware of where the gaps are, that there are certain weak spots within the summer months where there are no events. And, you know...
Because didn't you used to rely a lot on, I mean, I call them door-to-door salesmen, but people coming over for meetings, that sort of thing. You used to have a fair amount of that.
We did. That was about 10, 12 years ago. That's gone that now, yeah. So, we've had to evolve. But like I said before, I mean, I think if you talk to everybody, all operators, everybody is... There's a lot of bad news coming about the island and the economy in general. That's not the case with tourism. I think there's nothing but every time you pick a paper up or you speak to anybody, there's nothing but positivity and good news for next year. We're certainly looking forward to a busy year next year on the back of our Isle of Man Best Hotel Award. I think it's onwards and upwards. There's a lot of groups booked in for next year and a real lot of interest, and we're getting a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, a lot of people Facebooking us asking about what's going on next year. I think that allied to the fact that EasyJet are extending the routes over here. We've now got a BA presence in London, which will also help and give the island a lot more credibility.